Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge in financial freedom. Today I've got a few headlines. One of them's about PayPal and their new cross-border payment system. And then the other one touches on NVDA, because NVIDIA's got an earnings report that's coming out after market. So let's dive on in and get you prepped for success today. Oh, let me get that swapped over to the right screen. Keep swapping my screens around. There we go. Got the right screen shared now. All right. So for the stock market heat map, we've got NVIDIA that is sitting up 4.89% from yesterday. It was a big move on their potential earnings report that is coming out. It looks like it might be overwhelmingly positive. 75 cents per share, coming out to about $17 million in total. So we'll just see how that goes in the post market, but it is up 0.22% in the pre-market right now. You've got Apple that is sitting up 0.11 from yesterday. In the pre-market, it is sitting down just a little bit, down 0.24. You got Berkshire Hathaway, which is making some losses. It is down 0.71% from yesterday, and in the pre-market is up 0.2% right now. Got Amazon, made some decent little moves. Nothing on Walmart yesterday. Walmart was up 3%. Amazon's up 1.44. In the pre-market, it's sitting down a little bit, down 0.41. We got Eli Lilly sitting up 0.35. In the pre-market, it is sitting up 1.39. Got ExxonMobil that is sitting down 1.4 on before the little crude oil information that comes out today. We do have the crude oil stock change on the U.S. reserves, which is forecasted to be up. And in the pre-market, ExxonMobil is up 0.24%. We've got Tesla, which is still sitting up. It's up 2.14 from yesterday. And in the pre-market, it's down just a little bit, down 0.2. You got Microsoft sitting up 0.49. In the pre-market, it is sitting up 0.65% right now. You got Google, which made some decent gains yesterday, up 1.61, but in the pre-market is sitting down just a tiny bit, down 0.28% right now. Got Meta, which finally is catching up to the rest of that sector, sitting up 1.21, and in the pre-market continuing those gains, up 0.26% right now. Bitcoin is sitting up 1.41% on the day. Got Ethereum down just a tiny bit, down 0.09%. Got Solana down as well, just a little bit, down 0.08%. Got XRP sitting up 2.44. Made a little move up to $1.15. Got BNB sitting down 0.42%. We got Dogecoin down 0.19. Got Toncoin sitting down 0.37. Got SWI sitting down 1.14. Cardano making big gains, up 12%, back at that 82-cent range that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. Got Avalanche sitting up 2.07%. Got WorldCoin sitting down 2%. We've got Zebu sitting up 1.93. Tron is sitting down 0.75. Chainlink sitting up 0.68, and Aptos making big gains up 9.03%. For the economic calendar, we don't really have any heavy data coming out. We do have crude oil coming out at 10:30 Eastern time. That big one's going to be the crude oil stock change, looking to be up 0.8 million. So something to keep in mind for the traditional side, the TradFi side of things. We've got some small data coming out from Japan later tonight. That'll be midnight, a little after midnight Eastern time, with Bank of Japan's Governor Ueda coming out with a speech. Other than that, we don't really have any big market movers that are coming out from the data side of things. Let's hop over to the fear and greeds. We got the stock market still sitting neutral, 0 point change on that. For the crypto, we are down 7 points and at 83. Still an extreme greed though, so definitely some potential for some sideways movements and some cooling off in the crypto side of things. For the liquidation heat map, on a daily, we've got most of the liquidity sitting to the top side of us. All the shorts that had piled up on the top side from back here, and the all-time high that we had made the other day. So mostly looking at some short squeezes. For a weekly chart, we do have a little bit of liquidity to the bottom side of us. Nothing extremely hot though. We've been just taking out the liquidity that's on the top side for the past week or so. So we do have the monthly chart, which is showing a little bit of some hot spots to the bottom side here in the 85, 86 range. Nothing too crazy though. And on a little higher time frame to kind of see, you've got no real hot spots on a longer term time frame. So just a bunch of short squeezes that we could be doing on a shorter term time frame, and taking out the liquidity that people keep trying to short, because we get to topper ranges and people like to put shorts in. But all I've been looking for is consolidations in the range that we're in, maybe moving on up a little bit, and we'll kind of talk about some of those targets in a second. Let's get back over to TradingView and look at the Bitcoin chart real quick. As you can kind of see here, I've drawn out a Fibonacci extension from the lows here to the high to the low here. This is kind of just to give me some price targets in this range that I've been wanting to see Bitcoin push into. Get some stopping points, some areas where we might see some support made as we move into the range. As you can kind of see here on a daily chart, we do have the MACD, which is kind of looking like it might set some more sideways movements as we move throughout the day. We've got your prime oscillator, which is still looking red, but mainly just moving sideways as this price moves to the upside. You do have your money flow, which is looking still pretty green on the daily chart. So definitely something nice to see for a higher term time frame on Bitcoin, meaning that we might not see two extreme lows. For a 4-hour chart, you can kind of see here, you've got your MACD, which just crossed on the positive side of things, and is looking for maybe some higher price targets if we can get this money flow to switch back green. You do have your prime oscillator, which just turned green again. So some higher price targets could definitely be plausible. If we zoom it on down to the hourly, you can see as well the MACD had that cross on the positive side of things. We've been bouncing up against this Fibonacci extension line, the 382, which is sitting right there. It's been resistance a few times. I'd like to see that get broken and turned into some support before we kind of move on up to the upside. But if we do get some downside targets, that price could be around that 92,300 point for a bouncing. You've got that being a higher low in this trend to the upside. If you move it on to that 15-minute chart to kind of get a gauge of what we might see for the morning, and zoom on in just a little bit so you can get a better view. We've got that prime oscillator, which made some divergence, but looks like it's probably going to ignore that right now. You've got your money flow looking pretty green, your MACD, which is set to cross the indicator line on the positive side, and this selling off pressure is not looking too strong here above this Fibonacci line that I had talked about. You've got that Fibonacci line at 93,500. So just looking for that money flow to really pick back up and move things to the upside. If that money flow doesn't really come in on those higher term time frames, you can expect this little move to the upside to be a little short-lived. You do have a psychological price point above us at 94,000. That could definitely be a point to move back down from. All we got to do is create a higher low here, as I had talked about, at that 92,300, and really turn that into some support before we really turn this 93.5 into some support. So let's say hello to the chat this morning. We've got Darren Does Things in here. Wake up, today's going to be a good day. It most definitely is. Got All Set saying good morning BC and Darren Does Things. We've got Broke Enoshi No Dinero in here saying good morning BC, hola, and good morning to the chat. We got Jesse Gulak in here saying good morning everyone, just woke up. Well, welcome to the land of the living. We've got Jeffrey Stonisfire in here saying good morning, everyone. We've got Jesse Gulek saying ADA gonna retrace 5 hours from now. Might have to take a little look at that ADA chart then. We got Dante Cabrera in here as well saying good morning. So let's hop on into this first article that I've got pulled up. It's about PayPal. It's been pushing itself into the crypto markets, and it's trying to make another move in the crypto markets. We've got PayPal taps Zoom for cross-border payment of stablecoin payments. PayPal has tapped Zoom to enable cross-border payments using the stablecoin PayPal USD, the payments giant said on November 19th. The partnership is designed to expand access to Pi USD in Asia and Africa markets and let PayPal settle cross-border transactions outside of the traditional banking hours, PayPal said. Zoom is working with Shabana Luhir and Yellow Card to handle Pi USD disbursements. Stablecoins like Pi USD are changing the payments landscape, and by integrating our technology, they will be able to move more money in the most effective way possible thanks to our stablecoin and payments infrastructure, Chris Maurice, Yellow Card CEO, said in a statement. Launched in 2023, Pi USD is backed 1-to-1 by the US dollar and is issued by Paxos Trust Company, a United States regulated crypto custodian. It competes with other regulated dollar-backed stablecoins such as Circle Internet Financial's USD coin. An Ethereum compatible ERC20 token, Pi USD is the only stablecoin supported on PayPal payments rails. It is designed to be available to an already large and growing community of external developers, wallets, and Web3 applications, and easily onboarded by cryptocurrency exchanges, according to PayPal. PayPal has been taking steps to expand Pi USD's accessibility, including working with Anchorage Digital to launch a rewards program for clients who custody PayPal USD stablecoins with the crypto custodian. In May, PayPal launched Pi USD on Solana, partnering with Crypto.com, Phantom, and Paxos to on-ramp users onto the blockchain network. It also partnered with Web3 infrastructure provider MoonPay to buy cryptocurrencies using a PayPal account. That partnership extended to on-ramping users to crypto betting platforms Polymarket in July. Coinbase, which also has an institutional custody arm, incentivized users to hold stablecoin on its platform as well. It currently offers approximately 5.2% annual percentage yield on USDC. Coinbase owns an equity stake in Circle. Despite its recent success, Pi USD still greatly lags behind the dollar-pegged stablecoin USDT and USDC. According to data from CoinMarketCap, the two leading stablecoins command market capitalizations of some 128 billion and 37 billion respectively. I've got the Pi USD chart up, and it's not looking amazing as a stablecoin. You know, you like to see your stablecoins stable, and Pi USD has really been struggling, and this is something that might help them just a little bit. But I don't know how much it's really going to be able to compete in a market that's already got such large market caps in USDC and USDT. But just another thing that brings more people into crypto is something I see as a positive. So nothing too crazy for Pi USD, but definitely something positive for the crypto market. Let's see what chat says. We've got some otters in chat from Jeffrey Stonis Fire. We've got Jesse Gulak, 135% all-time P&L on ADA, and French Toaster in here with the good morning. Let me hop over to the indices and a few commodities before I dive on into anything. We've got the Nasdaq Composite, which made some moves yesterday. It kind of went right along with my target price that I had been talking about, that 18,900, that 18,980 mark, which is the bottom of this CME gap. From back here, I really thought that we would end up ignoring this CME gap right here that we made to the downside. So looking like we got a little bit of a rejection on there yesterday before market close. You've got your money flow, which is finally starting to look a little bit green on that. So definitely could see some targets to the upside here this morning. And your MACD end up crossing the zero line as we make that move on up. As I talked about yesterday, that 19,030 mark, 30 to 40 mark, could be a point of rejection for the Nasdaq. It is the midline of that CME gap. So we like to leave those open on the TradFi side of things and test that over and over again. It lets those bigger buyers end up retesting that price because it's all untested right here. As you see, the midline here was a great bouncing point on the CME gap to the bottom of us, and then we left the bottom half of that open. So really allows those buyers to have that open price point as a target to come back down to and scoop up cheaper prices before we move on up. So kind of looking for that rejection point to the top side at that 19,000 and about $35. Got the S&P making pretty much the same move. I had talked about that as well, that this range is going to be a point where we can move around in for a little while. We have seen some of the markets start selling off just a little bit. As your fear and greed had shown, the stock side of things is pretty neutral, and could really see that move on into the CME gap as well. The midline being 5,929. Before we kind of reject there, you do have the top side of that Fibonacci extension that I had drawn out, which we could end up getting to just a few dollars above that at 5,934 before we really see a rejection and a pullback into this open area between the CME gaps. You've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which never made it down to the CME gap and is looking to make a little bit of strength. You do have your MACD, which finally ended up crossing on the bottom side of things, but your money flows looking a little bit red here. You do have some divergences which should come out to play. You've got a CME gap to the top side of us as well. It's pretty small though, the top side being 42.6, about $644. So if we make a move on up, I could really see us rejecting off of that point for the Dow Jones. The Russell, on the other hand, really made that move that I had talked about yesterday. Didn't quite touch the midline of the CME gap, but it came down close and ended up getting that bounce that I was wanting to see. That bottom side target was 2,282 that we bounced off of extremely hard. So looking to close this fair value gap that we had made back here, where we've got a lot of price movement to the downside and leaving this area untested, as this was all a fair value gap from here and on to the downside here. We made another one inside that fair value gap. So if we kind of draw that out for a second, the top side being right here to the bottom side here. Oh, let me make that a rectangle. Kind of got that a little bit messed up. Let me change the color so we can kind of really see that. I'll make that blue. As you can see here, the midline of this fair value gap is lining up right here with a fair value gap here, where price moved through extremely quickly, and that's going to be that 2,329 point before we could kind of see a little rejection on the Russell. Maybe a pullback to the top side of this CME gap down here at $2,300. As we saw yesterday, gold got a decent move to the upside and bounced off of this 236 that I've been talking about before kind of pulling back down here to turn this price point that I had talked about from the highs here before we moved on down into some support. That 2,618 mark looks to have been the local bottom there before we move on up to the upside. That higher target could be about 2,657, but we would really need to turn this low from back here into some support. It's sitting right above that range that we had topped out at and weren't able to get above. So that 2,643 would really need to be turned into some support, as well as this 236 on the Fibonacci extension, sitting a little below it at 2,636. We've got silver as well, making that little move. It ended up breaking below these highs from back here that I really wanted to see turned into some support. But if you've got gold moving to the upside as well, then silver will probably do a similar move. It is a little bit lower on the 236, so got a little bit higher of a move to make here to kind of break this little downtrend than gold does. Let me hop over to some of the big movers from yesterday. I had talked about ADA making a big move last night. I saw Crypto Billy asking what pumped our bags last night. BTC. I'm not really seeing any big headlines that really moved it on to the upside. I'm just seeing the markets in general kind of moving in lockstep. We've got a bunch of your market caps changing, but changing together on the upside. You did have some of your TradFi ETFs launch the other day, so bring in some liquidity from the TradFi market into Bitcoin. So looking, as I had said, on Bitcoin to turn that 93,500 into some support, and might end up seeing that happen today. For ADA, you can kind of see here, we've really turned things around. It's been a while since we've been in this range. Let me zoom it on out to a higher term time frame. As you can kind of see here, we didn't even break these highs back here in October, or here's the October pump, or in March. We're now sitting above the zero line of this Fibonacci retracement that I had drawn, and looking for some more upside targets after a little bit of a pullback. You've got your MACD, which is still pointing to the upside, but your prime oscillators looking a little bit red. You got some overboughts and a reversal signal here on the daily. Your money flow still looking very, very green though. You've got, with the Trump headline saying that American-based cryptos should not be taxed, people looking for those American cryptos. So let's get rid of this retracement and draw out a different fib. A different fib to kind of see what some of these price targets could be. You've got the high there to the low there, and looking like above the one line there as well. So this $1.14 range at the 1.618 could be a very nice point to move on up to if we see some continued strength in ADA. Let's zoom it on down a little bit, see what that 4-hour chart is saying. As you can kind of see here, our money flows ticking back up to the green side. It's a light red here. You've got your prime oscillator looking pretty green there. Your MACD just got a cross on the positive side of things, but could very easily just reverse that. This is a higher term time frame chart, so we'll need to zoom in just a little bit to kind of get a a better gauge of what could be happening. As you can kind of see here, your money flow's still looking pretty nice on an hourly chart. And you do have some signals that this might have been a local top for now. Your MACD is also getting some curvature on an hourly chart. So looking to maybe pull back down to some of these highs that we had made. You've got 78 cents being a decent point that we could bounce off of if we end up pulling back. You also do have some of the lows here on the way up being 72 cents. So nothing too crazy on a pullback. You do have this platinum pocket below us as well. Let me zoom it on in a little bit so y'all can get a better view. Yep, that platinum pocket being some decent support from back here. So if we end up pulling on back for ATA, then you could see some of these highs here being 78 cents or the lows here being 72 cents. Be some decent price bounce, some decent bouncing points for ATA as your money flows looking very green on the hourly. But that 15-minute chart is looking like we could see a pullback for the morning. You can see here your MACD is looking towards the downside. Your prime oscillator is red and your money flow is starting to look a little bit to the red. So just some bottom side targets for it. That's 78 cents. As you can kind of see here, we turned it in some light support on the way on up, but could definitely be retested very easily. As you can see, price moved extremely quickly here through it and didn't really get tested very well. You've also got that to the bottom side of this as well. Price moving extremely quickly through this 72 cent range. So just some bottom side targets for ATA to just keep your eye on. I don't know if anyone has some assets that they'd like me to take a look at for today, but if you do, go ahead and throw those in the chat for me, and I will take a look at this other article I had on NVIDIA. Let me say hello to the chat real quick. I saw Marky Mark and the Funky Dutch sliding in here this morning with the good morning. We've got Darren Does Things saying, Billy, I'm at like 4x on ATA now. Was up above the average for ages. Let's go. We've got Darren. Oh, we've got All Set in here saying, Dutchy, good morning. We've got Mark Dutch saying, BC, good morning, you sexy beard. Well, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Mark Dutch. We've got Mark Dutch asking Billy how Billy Goat Tales was last night. I'm going to have to check that out later today. I'm always asleep when you go live with that. I like to go to bed extremely early. Mark Dutch saying the 886 on Bitcoin was just hit, which means we'll see a new all-time high in the near future. Yes, I was definitely talking about that a little bit earlier. We got Knox Bill saying, oh yeah, with the cheers emoji. Let me pull up the headline that I had pulled up on NVIDIA earlier. We got NVIDIA rallying 5% ahead of the earnings. What to expect from the most important stocks report. NVIDIA shares rallied Tuesday as investors prepared for the artificial intelligence leader's quarterly earnings results due later this week, a report described as the most crucial upcoming event for the hot but rocky stock market. As we've seen before, when NVIDIA's got good earnings reports, it kind of pulls the rest of the market up just a little bit in the tech sector. You know, they've been doing some big things, and anyone involved with AI, when NVIDIA gets a little move, is kind of getting that same move up, just not as extreme. Got NVIDIA stock rose 4.9% to $147 at closing, within 2% of its all-time high closing since earlier this month, helping lift the tech-heavy Nasdaq Nasdaq index to a 1% gain, its best day since November 7th. The rally comes ahead of the semiconductor chips designers' third quarter results, slated for shortly after the 4 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. That's today. It's going to be right after market close. So its result will likely have a wide sweeping ramification for the broader market, which is calmed after a sharp uptick following the election. NVIDIA's earnings can dictate the near-term direction of the market, predicted Bank of America's strategist Gonzalo Aziz and Ashua Kawan in a Sunday note to the client, adding that NVIDIA is the most dominant and most important stock in the market. Options traders price in a greater risk of a Friday move for the benchmark S&P's 500 index than the trading sessions following the next slate of a typically pivotal economic updates in the November jobs and consumer price index inflations report and the December's meeting of the Federal Reserve interest rate panel, according to Bank of America. NVIDIA accounts for more than 7% of the market capitalization weighted S&P. Wall Street expects another blowout quarter for NVIDIA. Consensus analysts forecasts call for a record 75-cent earnings per share, 17.4 billion net income in the third 3-month period ending in October, and 33.2 billion in revenue, according to FactSet. That would present a 6th consecutive quarter for NVIDIA, setting new records for all 3 of those metrics. Projections call for more than 80% year-over-year revenue and profit growth in the third quarter for NVIDIA, well above the sub 20% annual top and bottom line increases brought in by Q3 by the world's only other $3 trillion companies, Apple and Microsoft. NVIDIA is the most valuable public company in the world by market cap, with its $3.6 trillion valuation outstripping Apple's $3.4 trillion and Microsoft's $3.11 trillion. NVIDIA enjoys close to an 80% market share in AI accelerators, the highly expensive processing equipment necessary to train the in vogue generative AI models developed by entities from Amazon to the Danish government. The company's financial performance and valuations have skyrocketed during the recent generative AI revolution. Its split adjusted share price is up about 850% over the last 2 years, sending its market cap from below 400 billion to within striking distance of the 4 trillion, while its projected net income of 67.9 billion during this fiscal year would be more than 1,400% improvement from the 4.4 billion from the year encompassing most of 2022. This is definitely something that could also affect your crypto side of things. You know, as NVIDIA gets good pumps and your AI gets some good pumps, you will see this impact the crypto side of things as well. You've got your loosely crypto-based stocks, or your loosely crypto-based AI projects like Near, which is a layer 1, which has some AI potential. You've got Render being another one that moves quite nicely along with that, where we could also see a move to the upside. You've got some of the other ones which do very decent, like Tau as well, when AI does well. Tau is one of the bigger AI plays in crypto, and I would be looking for a slight move to the upside on those if AI is going to pump off of NVIDIA's move today. I had some upside price targets on NVIDIA, as you can kind of see here in the pre-market. You've got it's sitting just a little bit above things. It's up 0.64%. Really looking to break to the top side of things, where you've got this price target at 149, which would need to be turned into some support as we move on up. And this could very easily happen with the earnings report looking so positive. You have had some few negative headlines on NVIDIA where there's been some problems in their servers with massive use of their chips being used for these AI servers, but it hasn't really drug the price down too hard. NVIDIA mainly focuses on the actual production side of the things, as their chip is the most their chips are some of the most powerful chips you can really use to do AI. And you've got all of these companies who are moving towards AI. You even had Apple talking about pairing with ChatGPT to make a new AI model for Apple customers. So looking like NVIDIA is going to continue its little uptrend unless someone else can come in here and really change who's the most powerful chip. AMD would be its biggest competitor, but as I've talked about before, its best chip is 30% worse than NVIDIA's best chip. So definitely something to keep in mind, that NVIDIA's market share is not going anywhere anytime soon. If you do see some of that, yeah, I say little uptrend, it's not so little. I'm just being nice, you know. It's a massive uptrend. NVIDIA has the biggest market share on processing power for GPUs, and is definitely going to be continuing that because there's not really anyone to compete with that. You've got that upside target on a Fibonacci extension. As you can see here, I drew it from the low before the move up, drew it to the high from back here, and to the low down here, and we are now above that platinum pocket. That platinum pocket is not really been turned into some support. As you can see here, the money flow is a little bit red. So definitely looking for this platinum pocket to be turned into some support. But if these earnings reports are going to be overwhelmingly positive, then I would really look to the upside on things. You've got your MACD, which is set to cross on the top side of things. If you look at an hourly, you can kind of see it's already crossed on the bottom side and finally broke that zero line. You've got your money flow, which is really starting to tick up. It really started ticking up at the end of the day yesterday as people were prepping for a positive earning report. You've got your prime oscillator, which is massively green and is really looking to push on higher, as your pre-market is showing that with NVIDIA being up a little bit higher. If you kind of zoom it back on out to that 4 hour, that's why I was looking for some higher targets. I'd like to see this either get blasted through the 149 range, which is the all-time high, and just continuing on up to the upside, especially since you're talking about such a massive earning report and the 6th time that NVIDIA has done so. Really looking for this one line on the Fibonacci extension to kind of be hit and could easily do so today. That's going to be $156 on NVDA. So just kind of my little look on NVIDIA for today to go to correlate with that NVIDIA article. You could really expect to see that draw up the stock market as well. So I didn't really see any assets requested. So we are at 6:30. I do have to go. We've had a rainy week here, but it's looking like we're gonna get back to work here soon. So things got a little warm and might have dried things up enough for us to get some hours in today. So let me hop on over to the single chart. Thank you to everyone that is shown up loyally every single day. Thank you to all the newcomers. I did see a few new names in here this morning as well. So thank you. If you have not hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've got 4 shows on here, and apparently we're going to have another new show coming on here, which Piper will be announcing later today on his morning market report at 9:30 Eastern time. So make sure to tune into that, because we've got some new information coming out on a new show. If you haven't been checking out the Mad Markets After Dark show with Lunar Beaches Crypto, definitely should do that. He goes live at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So if you didn't see that one from last night, you should definitely check that out. He talked about some of those Bitcoin targets. He goes a little more into depth on his TA than I do. I keep it simple because I'm a simple man. So also check out that Crypto Nightcap with FD White and Tradefly. They come on every night at 8:30 Eastern time PM. So check that out as well. We try to bring you all the alpha all day long. You can also get the alpha for those in-between times on our Discord. So if you haven't checked out our Discord, go ahead and check out that link. It's in the description. And if you haven't checked out the indicator packages that we have, and you liked those indicator packages, the indicator that I showed you, like the Prime Oscillator, definitely worth checking out. We've got a nice little discount on that. Other than that, everyone, wake up, because today's gonna be a good day.